Hello and welcome to our 7:30 news bulletin. Here are the top stories. Vatican unveils plans to restore Baldacchino in St. Peter's Basilica. High Court discharges Vice President Saulos Chilima of 2 counts. Ejenko announces weekend maintenance shutdown at Nkula A and B hydroelectric stations, temporarily reducing grid capacity by 135.1 megawatts. And in our exclusive report this week, Jacqueline Saidi holds in Malawi's fraud educational system, which prevents many poor Malawians from receiving quality education. We have these and many more. My name is Bridget Mwanuka. Stay with us. Vatican unveils plans to restore Baldacchino in St. Peter's Basilica. Ahead of the Jubilee year 2025, the Knights of Columbus are supporting a 10-month restoration of the Baldacchino over the high altar in St. Peter's Basilica. Pope Francis has authorized the first systematic and complete restoration of the Baldacchino almost 400 years after work began on Gian Lorenzo Bernini Baroque masterpiece. Due to technical hiccups, will not be able to give you that Vatican report. The High Court in Lilongwe has today discharged Vice President Dr. Saulos Chilima on breach of public trust by the public officers counts labeled as counts 3 and 5 in the charge sheet. High Court Judge Professor Redison Gabindu has, in his ruling on the matter, held the view that the Anti-Corruption Bureau ACB introduced the time-bound counts beyond its time in the amended charge sheet. The count has, however, agreed with the Bureau that counts 1 and 2 should remain as they are without specifying amounts allegedly received on demanded by Chilima from businessman Suneth Satar. More in this report by Robert Edward.
Now, there were 3 issues that the High Court Judge Professor Redson Kamidu was supposed to give his ruling on. Number 1 was the issue of the disclosure of documents. Now, these are the documents that, among others, include the Malawi Defense Council meeting minutes on the purchase of ammunition, including even the letter that was written to the Treasury to ask for funds to purchase those equipment. And the second one was the issue of the naming of a charge, of a count or some counts in the charge sheet. These are described as count number 1 and count number 2, where the Anti-Corruption Bureau is alleging that the Vice President, Dr. Saulos Chilima, received an unspecified amount of money from the business moku, Suneth Satar. And then the defense was arguing that that word unspecified has to be removed they have to show how much did Chirima receive. On that, the court has agreed with the ACB that these being corruption matters, that it's not obvious that a person would come straight and say, you give me such amount of money. It can be a wedding that give me something, and it could still mean that well, it can still be alleged that there is corruption. They have agreed that that is not supposed to be disclosed, agreed with the ACB. But on the first part, on the disclosure of the document, which the defense also played to the court has ordered that on Monday, 22 January 2024, the Malawi Defense Force has to bring to the judge, to disclose it to the judge himself, but under strict confidentiality, without even following the normal procedures of filing, so that the documents should just be appreciated by the judge himself, after which he's now going to make a determination on whether the documents should be disclosed to the defense or not. Now, another issue that was supposed to be decided on was the issue of counts number 3 and counts number 5. Now, these are counts that are related to, according to a lawyer for Chirima, are related to the Criminal Procedure and Evidence Court. These counts have also been struck out of the charge sheet because they are time bars. Now, these are counts that when the state are commencing an allegation on, or after an allegation has been put against the person, they have to be completed within a specified period of time, and because the time has elapsed, then those counts falls off, which, according to the lawyer Kumbo Soko, representing Chirima, today, which is on Friday, has been a great day because the courts have agreed with them on 2 issues.
You see, when a charge sheet is cluttered, you're concentrating on a lot of things. And if it's clear, it has got very few counts, we're going to focus on those. So for us, that's what we're going to be doing. And that's what we're arguing to say. It's too cluttered. I mean, some of these counts are time barred in any event. So it gives us an opportunity to really give the few counts that are remaining all of our attention.
Now, particularly to the first issue that the court was supposed to decide, the issue of the court balancing the interest, the public interest and the national security, and the right to the fair trial of the accused in relation to the documents that have to be disclosed from the Malawi Defense Force. Lawyer representing the Anti-Corruption Bureau believes that despite the fact that they have agreed with the defense that the documents have to be disclosed to the judge, the issue still remains that the courts still agreed with them that, or with the Attorney General and the MDF representatives who came during the chamber hearing, that they may indeed affect the national security, and they are happy that the sticky issues that are emanating from Corrupt Practices Act, they are still there as counts for the accused to answer.
As you've observed the ruling by the judge, in his observations, he said it is not common that when people are discussing about bribes, they would sometimes put details. But there are words and actions and there's sometimes conduct which demonstrates and will give you an indication that there was an exchange of bribes. And that was the reason why we certainly did not specify.
Now, the matter has been adjourned to a date to be communicated, and on that date, we are going to expect that the High Court Judge, Professor Edson Kabindu, is going to deliver his ruling on whether or not the MDF should disclose the documents that are sticky on this matter. For Luntha, this is Robert Edward.
The electricity generation company, Genco, will be undertaking maintenance works at Nkula A and B hydroelectric power station in Blantyre over the weekend, taking off 135.1 megawatts from the grid. The company's spokesperson, Moses Igwaza, says the rehabilitation work will require complete shutdown of Nkula A and B to create a safe working environment for engineers, drivers and technicians at the site. Emmanuel Chuocha compiled a report being read by Bernard Manza.
In an interview with Luntha television, Ijenko spokesperson Moses Gwaza said the works will comprise the replacement of Nkula B dislodged intake screen and the inspection of main inlet valve. He said electricity generation will continue at Kabijira and Tedzani power stations, as well as from diesel generator to supply to the grid.
We have planned this maintenance for 3 days, beginning on Saturday 13th January to Monday 15th January. But we anticipate that within this period, we should be complete with these works.
Meanwhile, the Electricity Supply Corporation of Malawi ESCOM has released a load shedding schedule which shows that Malawians will experience a minimum of 8 hours of blackout each day. The rehabilitation works are expected to start in the early hours of Saturday 13th January 2024 to Monday 15th January 2024 and to help to ensure that Nkula B machines are protected from unwanted foreign bodies such as trash.
The Center for Democracy and Economic Development Initiatives, CDED, has penned the Attorney General requesting for a forensic audit of Greenbelt Greenhouse Limited, GGL, in claimant that its actions are not only suspicious but also contrary to the public finance management protocols. In a letter addressed to Attorney General Thabo Chakakanyirenda, CDED Executive Director Sylvester Namiwa wants the government to make public shareholding information and complete with documentary evidence that GGL paid its equity contribution. More in this report.
On Friday, CDED Executive Director Sylvester Namiwa told journalist in Lilongwe that Greenbelt Authority should explain why the company does not declare dividends, let alone annual financial revenue and reports. Namiwa has also disclosed that apart from the initial $5.5 million, the Malawi government pumped in 2.2 billion kwacha and 2.7 billion kwacha respectively. However, he lamented that the aforementioned figure was too much for the 16 greenhouses that were elected by an Israeli company in Australia, which later became both the manager and partner. Reacting to the issue, Greenbelt Authority Board Chairperson Wester Kosamu said the board will soon release full details after getting hold of seeded inquiries. Last month, the Greenbelt Authority terminated its shareholding deal with AUM Sugar and Allied Limited of India and Salima Sugar Company Limited due to breach of contract. The development came barely a day after it was reported that the Ministry of Trade and Industry and other government agencies dismissed an appeal from CDED to institute an investigation into alleged abuse of funds in the contract.
You're still watching news on Luntha television, and today you're with me, Bridget Manuka. Before we proceed, a retake of our headlines. Vatican unveils plans to restore Baldacchino in St. Peter's Basilica. High Court discharges Vice President Saulos Chilima of 2 counts. Ejenko announces weekend maintenance shutdown at Nkula A and B hydroelectric stations, temporarily reducing grid capacity by 135.1 megawatts. And in our exclusive report this week, Jacqueline Saidi holds in Malawi's fraud educational system, which prevents many poor Malawians from receiving quality education. Proceeding with our news, Mangochi police have begun a manhunt for a 15-year-old boy who fled after fatally stabbing his 26-year-old elder sister, Finance Chabwetega, during a disagreement over a new cooking pot. Mangochi Police Public Relations Officer Inspector Amina Tebani Daudi confirmed the development to Luntha television, stating that the incident happened on January 11, 2024 at Mtendere village, Traditional Authority Chiriba in Mangochi, where the deceased purchased a new cooking pot. She said that on the fatal day, the suspect had taken the pot without his elder sister's consent and was using it to roast dried maize, and when she told him not to use the new pot for that purpose, the suspect became enraged and a violent altercation broke out between them. Inspector Daudi explains.
Indeed, the suspect is a 15-year-old boy, and he ran away after stabbing to death his 26-year-old elder sister, Finance Chabwetega, over a new pot. From what we've gathered so far, the sister bought the new pot a few days ago and was to be used for cooking. Yesterday, she found the suspect roasting maize using that pot, and she advised him not to use the pot again. However, the suspect was angry, and the two picked a quarrel which led to fighting. In the process, the suspect took a knife and stabbed his sister on the neck. At that time, their mother was bathing and heard her daughter screaming for help. When she quickly came out, she found her lying unconscious in a pool of blood. Then the mother took her daughter to Pilongwe Health Center, where death was pronounced upon arrival. And the same hospital has certified that Finance's demise was caused due to loss of blood. Meanwhile, all efforts to arrest the boy are underway. Once found, he will answer the charge of murder, which is contrary to Section 209 of the Penal Code.
The Secondary School Teachers Union has called on government to revise the salary structure for secondary school teachers, saying the current structure does not tally with their work. The union says that the teachers are facing a lot of challenges that keep on demotivating them, hence the need for government to treat the matter with the agency it deserves. We have a report by Bernard Manza.
The call comes at a time government is taking views from different stakeholders on how the 2024-2025 national budget should appear through pre-budget consultation meetings. Secondary School Teachers Union member Mercy Chitsuro Saukira told the Finance Minister during one of the meetings in Lilongwe on Wednesday that, among others, teachers are receiving substandard salaries despite working all days, including on public holidays. She said, for instance, teachers are always up to work during school holidays, either in marking examinations or planning their lessons, but they get peanuts.
When they introduce the percentages of the salaries of the teachers, it is a cry that the teacher got the least of the percentage and getting particular percentage. Yet we have already less paid civil servants.
Additionally, the teachers say government continues to make their life miserable after retiring, as it takes years for them to access pensions. They have also cited failure by government to promote them as one of the critical aspects that frustrates them.
Most of the teachers are getting retired without being promoted. The same grade which they entered on the first time they started teaching, that's the same grade they get retired. When it comes to promotion, you see that the same student which you taught when he was in either Form 1, Form 2, is having a good grade or a higher grade than the one who started earlier on.
Finance Minister Simplex Chitola Banda acknowledged that there is indeed no much effort in motivating civil servants, including teachers, but pledged that government will seriously take this on board. Secondary School Teachers Union, SESTU, was officially launched in 2021 with plans to work with education stakeholders to create a conducive working and learning environment to promote and maintain high-quality education standards. This is Bernard Manza for Luntha News.
And finally, Malawi's Tonse Alliance government continues to lack pinpoints in the country's education systems and are seen to be ignorant on how to tackle the old one. The sector had failed to parade the future of some 29,817 candidates expected to sit for exams this year. The students in mentioned risk not sitting for Malawi Examination Board MANIB exams this year after their parents and guardians failed to pay examination fees. In our today's exclusive report, Jacqueline Saidi punches holes in the Malawi's broken education system that continuously voids underprivileged Malawians from accessing education.
Government's hypocrisy on the matter has compelled citizens on social media to be mobilizing funds for the students. These candidates are those expected to sit for primary school leaving certificate of education, junior certificate of education, and the Malawi School Certificate of Education. The number represents 4.68% of the 637,887 candidates registered this year to sit for the national examinations. Out of the 637,887 candidates, 608,045 have paid their examination fees, representing 95.32%. This means 29,817 candidates across the country were at risk of not sitting for their examinations. The case has exposed massive wounds in the government's broken system. Luntha Television understands that the situation would have been worse if some well-wishers and organizations had not come in time to help some of the needy students. But without indicating a necessary initiative to assist the needy students, what the Tonse regime could do is only to extend the closing dates.
Bunge lathu laganiza kuti lonjezere masikuwa litalandira madandaulo kuchokera kwa amala akasiyana-siyana ena amatifotokozera kuti ndalama panopo azipeza moti changu atsigulira atha kulipira. Ndeti naona kuti chapasibe mwayi anthu amene ndalama anazipeza acha kuti alipire. Ndinene kuti tikalonjezera masikuwa tikonjezera madandaulo ati ndalama nego.
A story of a databased student whose parents cannot even afford to pay the money if given 300 days would foretell how the government has missed very important points. Citizens feel government is concerned but not bothered. Some suggest the government needs to use its taxpayers' money to cover the gap. Experts share a similar thought while applauding the government for extending the closing dates. It has transpired that the failure to settle the balance emanates from the economic hardships Malawians are facing. For PSLCE can comfortably review that 265,922 students registered, but only 259,468 paid the identification processing fee, pegged at 3,800 kwacha, while 6,454 failed. On record as having said she could not afford to pay for her 2 wards sitting for JCE this year due to the economic turmoil, but Nampota said the situation is concerning. Civil Society Education Coalition Executive Director Benedicto Kondoe said the situation does not only deprive the students the chance to showcase their academic abilities, but also perpetuates inequality and limits their future educational and career opportunities. But Ministry of Education spokesperson Mphatso Nkonia said while the suggestion to reduce the fees was welcome, Administering national examinations require huge resources. The fact still remains that not all parents can afford to pay the fees, even if the debts were to be extended even further. The harsh economic situation has not spared tertiary education, with reports rife that some public university students are failing to access their end-of-year examination results, while others have dropped out of college due to lack of fees. The country has been battling an economic crisis, including the 44% devaluation of the kwacha that has led to high food prices and cost of living.
That exclusive report brings us to the end of our news bulletin today, but before we go, another look at the headlines. Vatican unveils plans to restore Baldacchino in St. Peter's Basilica. High Court discharges Vice President Saulos Chilima of 2 counts. Ejenco announces weekend maintenance shutdown at Nkula A and B hydroelectric stations, temporarily reducing grid capacity by 135.1 megawatts. And in our exclusive report this week, Jacqueline Saidi holds in Malawi's fraud educational system, which prevents many poor Malawians from receiving quality education. That's all we had for you. Thank you for choosing Luntha Television. This has been Bridget Manoka. Have a blessed weekend. Goodbye.
Luntha TV is now on Zuku Channel 51. You can get yourself a Zuku decoder from the Luntha TV offices in Area 2, Lilongwe, and from all the St. Manford bookshops across the country in Kasungu, Lilongwe, Salima, Dedza, Balaka, Zomba, Mulanje, Blantyre, Chikwawa, Mwanza, and Mangochi. For more information, contact 0883 815 055 or 0996 892 965. Get a Zuku decoder today and not miss daily mass, worship and prayers, news bulletins, and so much more on Luntha TV, bringing wisdom into your home.